The judge was seconds away from announcing the verdict. When she took off her jacket, what was revealed on her arm stopped the entire courtroom. The judge's voice cracked. "Where did you get that tattoo?" No one expected what happened next. It was supposed to be just another day in court. But for Lena Carter, this day would change her life forever. She stood alone at the defendant's table, her brown eyes tired, her hands clenched tightly in front of her. On the surface, she looked calm. Too calm for someone facing 15 years. In prison, Lena was charged with arson. The fire had consumed her ex-boyfriend's workshop, a small garage he claimed was his life's work. He said Lena had sent threatening texts, showed up unannounced days before the fire, and that she was the only one who knew the door's hidden lock code. The evidence was convenient. Traces of gasoline were found in her apartment's basement. Security footage showed a hooded figure leaving the scene. And Lena. She had no alibi. But there was one thing no one could explain. Why didn't Lena defend herself more? Why didn't she break down on the stand? Why was she so quiet, even in the face of ruin? Her court-appointed attorney seemed just as puzzled. She answered questions politely, with short, direct responses. She didn't cry. She didn't rage. It made the jury uneasy, made her look cold. But the truth was, Lena was hiding something. Not guilt, not shame. Something older, darker, buried deep beneath. Years of silence. The courtroom buzzed with quiet anticipation as the final day arrived. The jury was returning with the verdict. The judge, Harold Bennett, a man known for his war medals and his unshakable composure, entered the courtroom with his usual stern expression. Lena stood, as instructed. The bailiff approached her and whispered, "Court protocol, ma'am. Please remove your jacket." She hesitated. Just for a moment. But rules were rules. She slipped it off. Slowly, that's when it happened. Gasps rippled through the courtroom. Even the stenographer paused typing. The camera feed caught it clearly. A black and gray tattoo, etched from her right shoulder all the way down her forearm. It was haunting. A phoenix surrounded by flames, but in the background, faint symbols embedded in the design. Judge Bennett leaned forward, eyes wide, stared, and for the first time in decades he looked afraid. "What? Is that tattoo?" he asked, his voice cracking slightly. Lena's lips parted. She looked confused, unsure whether she'd done something wrong. "It was my mother's design. She died when I was 5. In a fire, I got it in her memory." The room was dead silent. Judge Bennett stood. He wasn't supposed to. He turned to the court clerk and said, "Stop the verdict. Recess the court." Whispers erupted. Attorneys on both sides were called to the bench. Lena stood frozen, still. Exposed in her tank top, still unaware of what she had just triggered. Because here's what the court didn't know 20 years ago. There was a string of arsons across the east side. One of them killed 5 people, including a woman named Margot Carter, Lena's mother at the time. The arsonist left behind no clues except for a strange symbol. Etched in soot and ash on the charred walls of every fire scene, that symbol was in Lena's tattoo. It was never released to the public. Only law enforcement and select investigators knew of it. Bennett was one of them. And now, staring at the ink burned into Lena's skin, he realized something chilling. This girl wasn't just a defendant. She was a child survivor of a fire that had never been solved. And now, her ex-boyfriend's fire wasn't looking like revenge. It was looking like a warning. Someone was back, and they were sending a message using Lena as a pawn. Bennett's hands shook as he returned to his chambers. He ordered an emergency investigation. The court went into lockdown, and Lena, she finally started to cry, not because she was guilty, but because the very thing she thought was a tribute to her mother was actually a calling card, a signature of the same monster who had come for her family 18 years ago, might have just come back to finish the job.